So let me ask you guys this. We've seen we've talked about a lot of this evidence that, all the stuff that came out later on. Why do you guys feel, and whoever wants to go first can, why do you think people still hold on to this narrative that these people were really going to take over the government and that there was this huge insurrection? Why do people still hold on to that narrative? Because I see people, John's a terrorist. He tried to overthrow the government and stop the election and all this other stuff. Why are people still holding on to that?
I mean, the short, sweet answer to that is that politics are a religion. I mean, it's become the religion. I don't. Those people's brains would break. I don't think most of them ever watched the footage because they didn't want to see it. I don't think those people could ever acknowledge that the thing that they have held so tight that they have used to rationalize and justify their vitriol and their hate for the other side, if they were to actually look at it and see it for what it was. And this goes for people on the other side of the aisle too, for 100,000%. This is not exclusive to one side of the aisle, but if they were to actually have to acknowledge that and have their fragile worldview challenged, I think it would make them have to look in the mirror and accept the fact that they've, one, been wrong, and two, they've been played. And I don't think anybody likes to admit either of those things.
Yeah.
There's that, and there's also, people tend to react differently to feeling powerless. And if they can grab on emotionally to something that makes them feel important and powerful, then they do. And as you said, it's more of, Tony, I've been calling it a religion forever.
Yeah.
Politics is basically the new religion because it doesn't require any sort of rational inputs to produce the outputs that you get from it, right? Mm-hmm. So I honestly think it really is that people also tend to feel safer in teams. So if they pick a team that they feel best represents what they believe, I think this is all basic human psychology and evolutionary psychology to say that we are tribal, and we are going to, 10,000 years ago in our hunter-gatherer state, as it were, having new ideas could actually get you kicked out of the tribe. And if that happens, you don't eat. You don't,
mm-hmm.
You don't have any safety or any comfort. And,
right.
No matter how much intellectualizing that we can do, and no matter how much advancements that we've made in thought and technology, comfort, government, justice, everything else, you can't just wash that out of us as humans. So I do understand it. The trick, and I know you know this about me too, is that I always say, I don't need to be right. What I want out of the shit bait that I throw out there is to get people to actually think about why they think what they do. Mm-hmm. Even if it turns out that I'm wrong about it, I'm fine with that. Just please drop how you feel. How you feel is not useful mm-hmm. when it comes to analyzing situations like this or determining whether or not something is true. In fact, if you throw the way you feel in between you and discovering fact and truth, you're not going to come up with it all the time. In fact, I'd say that it's an impediment. So I think that's really it, Tony, is that that's my own take on it anyway, is that people feel safer in their tribes. And they also, on some level, it's either intellectualized or it's not, that if they step outside of the comfort of that tribe with an idea that the rest of the tribe might not approve of, they might be shunned. They might be pushed out of what makes them feel comfortable and powerful.
Yeah. Well, you and I, Christian, we both have read probably every book written by Jonathan Haidt, right?
And I have, actually, yeah.
Yeah. And, the thing is, in the way that I would explain it, is there's people, have their beliefs and convictions, and people have what we would call cognitive comfort, meaning that they're comfortable thinking something and they want to believe that. And if you give them any dissenting information that refutes that, then what ends up happening is they get angry and don't want to acknowledge that it's true. And then there's a bit, there's a thing called the human ego that refuses to be bruised because they don't want to be wrong about something. Right. And I think what happens is people allow themselves to be put into that category. So, for example, people will cling on to this incident. They'll say Trump incited it. Okay. Well, here's my take. I've always said this. It's the same thing goes for when people were trying to blame Bernie Sanders for some idiot going and blowing up a softball game.
Right, the guy who shot Steve Scalise.
People
I didn't
have-
blame Sanders for that.
No, people have free will to make their own conscious decisions to do something. And they don't have to listen to that individual. They don't have to listen to the media. They do not have to. Like, none of these people are like, Trump didn't hold anybody hostage and tell them, you go here or else, right? These people went on their own free will. And what they do is they make their own conscious decisions to believe whatever. And so I think what happens is when you show somebody dissenting evidence, I could tell you right now, I had somebody the other day, it had nothing to do with politics, but he decided that he was going to unfriend me because he claimed something was true. And then when I showed him it was not true, boom, unfriended. I got called an a-hole and I was unfriended. It was over a production number for a car. That's how stupid this was. Right. And he didn't want to be wrong. But the thing is, I mean, I was like, well, I go, if they did produce one of these, I would love to find it. But the production numbers say it wasn't produced. The dealer didn't offer it. And this guy went nuts, deleted his comment and left. And that's over something that's not political. That's over something just that petty.
That's tribal too, though.
Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.